Today, I want to take you through a dramatic episode in the Ukraine-Russia war, an operation that shows how drones are redefining what warfare looks like. Picture this: one side sends in nearly 177 Russian tanks and armored vehicles into what looks like an advantageous push, only to be ambushed in what's earned the grim moniker, the drone kill zone. What follows is a brutal lesson on modern war, strategy, and the power of small, unmanned aircraft. To begin, the term drone kill zone refers to areas along the front lines, usually a stretch a few kilometers deep from the contact lines, where surveillance and kamikaze drones operate freely, spotting targets, calling in fire, and destroying high-value assets. In effect, these are corridors where large, exposed vehicles like tanks are extremely vulnerable. Rappler +2, the Star +2, now imagine 177 tanks moving through territory perhaps thought to be safe or at least manageable. Russian command likely expected to suppress resistance with firepower and numbers, but what they perhaps underestimated or failed to account for fully was how well Ukraine has established its drone dominance, its electronic warfare capacity, and its ability to make the sky a battlefield beyond planes and missiles. The Star +2 Forbes +2 as the column of tanks advanced. Ukrainian drones swept overhead. These weren't just reconnaissance UAV, there were first-person view FPV drones, kamikaze drones, bomber drones, small, nimble, often hard to detect until it's too late. Multiple layers of detection were in play: optical, radar, and critically, electronic warfare that jammed or disrupted communications and guidance systems. The Star +3 Forbes +3 Ukraine today. Org +3, the result was devastating. The tanks entered this kill zone, likely along a predictable route. That predictability let the defenders coordinate multiple drone teams, set up ambushes, strike from above and from the skies. As drones pounced, many tanks were immobilized, others destroyed outright. Some were hit in vulnerable spots: engine compartments, optics, tracks, places where even heavy armor doesn't provide cover. The psychological impact must have been huge, seeing a massive armored force picked apart by what look like toy planes. Another layer that plays in favor of the defenders: being able to call in artillery fire once targets are revealed. The drones relay real-time images or live feeds, which allow for precision strikes from artillery or missile systems. Tanks trying to withdraw or reposition become fair game. Forcing units to bunch up increases losses. Rappler +2, the Star +2, we also need to consider electronic warfare: jamming, signal interception, interference with drone control, or with sensor feeds. In places like Krinky, for example, the Ukrainian forces are using EW units heavily, preventing Russian drones from even taking off sometimes, or disrupting their guidance once airborne. The result: Russia cannot simply mass armor and expect to sweep forward. They have to adapt. Forbes +2 Forbes +2. So what are the takeaways? 1. Tanks and armored columns are no longer automatically decisive, especially when they have to cross into open terrain under constant overhead surveillance. Contrary to traditional doctrine, sheer numbers won't always win. 2. Small, cheap systems drones, FPVs, bomber drones are highly leveraged force multipliers. They can degrade, destroy, or neutralize expensive and sophisticated equipment. 3. Integration of drones, intelligence and artillery is a potent combination. The coordination across domains is what turns what might have been a brute force assault into a massacre. From the Russian perspective, pushing so many vehicles into that zone appears risky, possibly even reckless, unless there was gross miscalculation or lack of proper reconnaissance. Maybe they thought Ukraine's drone coverage was weaker, or that counter measures would suppress or neutralize them. But the outcome suggests that their advance was severely compromised. For Ukrainian forces, This success underscores the strategic value of investing in birds in the sky and in silent, remote systems that can operate under the umbrella of EW. Drones are cheaper, lower risk for human operators, and can be deployed in swarms. On a broader level, this episode highlights how modern conflict is evolving. Wars are not just about the biggest tanks, biggest artillery, or biggest manpower. They are about information dominance, airspace control even at low altitudes, and who can see, target, and strike first. Where armored vehicles once roamed more safely, now they must consider threats from above, from small drones, from sensors, from jammers. In conclusion, the story of those 177 tanks is almost mythic in its lessons. Enter a drone kill zone unprepared, and what seems like strength becomes liability. Warfare is changing, and this is one vivid chapter. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think armored units still have a future in this kind of environment? What can commanders do differently to survive in such deadly zones? Thanks for watching.